The Information Technology and General Services Committee will now come to order. We do not have a quorum at this time, so any items that move forward will be upon the recommendation of the chair. With that, we will announce that item number 1 will be continued for the next scheduled meeting of this committee. So we'll go to item number 2.
Item number 2 is a motion, Weezer Gruel, relative to various actions concerning the donation of a television studio to the Boyle Heights Technology Center by Time Warner Cable.
Okay. How you doing?
Good afternoon,
Good
Council
afternoon.
Member.
Have you worked with Time Warner Cable before?
No, this is the first time.
It's the first time?
Yes.
So if I warn you, you'll take notes?
I will.
Not about the company, it's just certain people at that company, you know, you got to watch them. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, can you, I know you've gone over this in the Housing Committee, but can you tell us what this particular facility would do and how it would serve the community?
Sure. And I'll start stating my name. My name is Jimmy Valenzuela. I'm the director for the Youth Opportunity Movement out of the Community Development Department, and I manage the Boyle Heights Technology Youth Center. A few months ago, maybe, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, I met Dean out of the Times Warner, where he took a tour of the facility and looked at some of the things that we're doing in helping young adults through our program. We had just recently started a film and music program out of that center. About a month or so later, he came back and mentioned about the TV studio and how that would incorporate into our center. So what I did was I put a one-page together and I submitted it to my department. And what I would think that we would do with the TV studio if it was donated to the center. So our goal is to teach young adults, 16 to 24-year-olds, how to report and how to provide a service through the TV studio, learning the journalism, run the cameras, editing, and produce a TV station that would provide the positive things that come out of our community and out of our city. It incorporates with what we're doing already with the film program. At the last committee that I seen you, council member, we had spoken about a documentary that the youth just finished and completed, and I will have you a copy on this Friday. It was on global warming within our community. It's a 5-minute piece that the youth put together. It's really impressive, which is one step of teaching young people about technology and vocational training. What I'm trying to do is build a bridge between the inner city and the entertainment industry, not to be your next movie star, but the whole gamut of the entertainment industry. And the TV studio would just add that element even more so, providing journalism, reporting, again, the camera, creating a whole crew of anchors, and just teaching them how to, the best practices of in the entertainment.
Okay. Now, who owns the building where this facility would be?
The city of Los Angeles.
Okay. So basically, the city would technically inherit this over time or be responsible for it over time or figure out how to make sure that it continues should it turn out to be a good project.
Yes. From my understanding, Times Warner will donate the TV studio and will man the station for a year and train our staff to continue to move it. At the same time, again, because it aligns with the film program that I have, I would have a film instructor. He's a graduate from USC film program, so it kind of aligns. We would have a professional person on staff that knows the equipment as well as the Times Warner staff teaching us.
Okay. All right. Anything Time Warner would like to add?
No, this is, I'm Dean Leavenworth with Time Warner. This is a good model for transition, as you're aware, Councilman, the new state law, the Digital Infrastructure and Video Competition Act, moves the responsibility for public and access away from the operators and to the local entities. And so this is we think, a good model where we're getting in ahead of time, getting this equipment in there, and when the time comes at the end of next year, that will be given to the city so the city can do with it as they wish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great facility and a great program, and that's, I think, for us, that's a really good starting point, because we know that that's something that's going to get use. And the facility's open, 8 to 8 every day, and it's and Jimmy runs a great operation. It's going to be something that the community is going to get access to for a long time to come. All the equipment's going to be new, so it'll be something. And with what they're already doing with the music and the other programs, I think it's a great dovetail.
So, public access, as we see it today, especially when it comes to content, some of it really isn't conducive to a community center. How do you plan on handling that when it comes to somebody saying, hey, this is a public facility, I've got some content, let's work on getting it on the public access channel?
The playback, a lot of those are bicycled in, which is what we call it, brought in from outside. Mm-hmm. And playback is a responsibility that we'll have. There's safe harbor, meaning that it's after a certain hour. Most of that's not produced the East LA Producers Association, the goal that we've had several meetings. The goal of the East LA Producers Association has always been to give voice to the voices of East LA. That's not really an issue with that group of producers. And some of the content you might be talking about really comes in from outside. It's not something that I would be too terribly concerned about people, the existing group, coming in and saying this is what we want to do.
Now that be the case, if somebody were to come to them and with their content and say, hey, let's do like the old days, throw this on the air, can they just refer them to go directly to Time Warner's office?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is strictly a production facility.
That's what I wanted to get at.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, they're not giving up, as a community center, they're not giving up any or adding on any responsibilities outside of the content that they approve of and the content that they want to work within their constituency with. They're not going to be, it's not going to fall on their lap that they are the public access point.
No, between now and the end of the year, we are still going to staff it. It's the same thing. It moves from Eastern Avenue over there.
And then after that year,
then
they can go ahead, and if somebody comes in with a DVD and says, hey, put this on public access for me, I don't care what time you put it, but put it. All they need to do is say, well, you can talk to Time Warner about that, or you can talk to Verizon about that, or AT&T, right? You can talk to them about
after January, the city still is in the midst, the Municipal Access Policy Board and the Board of Information Technology Commissioners, mm-hmm. along with the staff of ITA and numerous other stakeholders, are still in the midst of determining what the city's future will be on that. So that's something, it's not going to fall on Boyle Heights.
As we see it today, they're not taking on any undue responsibilities that they're not aware of.
Correct.
I just want to make that clear, because it is going to be a different world, and I certainly wouldn't want a community center burdened with that kind of freedom of speech rights. Folk who come there and say, well, I've been doing this for years, I want you to put it on the air. It's not your obligation, so you don't have to worry about that. If you want to be nice about it, you just say, here's Time Warner's phone number and address. You want to go talk to them, it's your business, but it's not our obligation, okay? Because you may run into that. Okay. All right. Anything else on that? Okay. We're on item number 2. Is anybody else here to speak on item number 2 to this committee? Item number 2, public access, is now open. Seeing and hearing none, it's now closed. With that, with the recommendation of this committee is to approve the motion as amended by the HCD committee, and then also for CDD to work in cooperation with the General Services Department and ITA to address any issues or concerns related to their respective departments. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We now move to item number 3.
Item number 3 is a motion, Gruel Cardenas, relative to a proposed program entitled Own a Piece of Los Angeles that would allow the purchase of city-owned vacant remnant parcels at fair market value.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Lourdes Owen from Asset Management General Services. This motion is directing General Services to report back with a list of surplus properties for sale to adjoining property owners. And the properties in question consist of undevelopable slivers or remnant parcels.
Okay. All right. What is the method that you use today in order to identify them and then propose them for sale?
Typically, the sliver or remnant parcels range in size below 5,000 square feet. And it
Okay.
can be only utilized by the adjoining owner as an addition to their property.
Okay. Now, right now, we have over 200 undevelopable parcels?
Correct, approximately.
All right. And do we have any semblance of an idea of what the gross value of those parcels are overall?
I don't have that information with me right now, but we are updating the valuation of all the properties.
Okay. Now, once we identify a parcel, about how long is it taking us, like a remnant piece like this subject matter, about how long does it take for us to put it through a process once we've identified it and we start moving forward for the purpose of sale?
If we go through the existing administrative code process, it will take us anywhere from 6 months to a year. But with the program that GSD is proposing, Own a Piece of LA, it will streamline the process and will require amendments to the existing procedure.
So potentially get it between 3 to 6 months instead of 6 months to a year?
Correct.
Is that a potential timeline?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and in most cases, it'll usually be an adjacent property owner that will take up the opportunity to purchase it, right?
Correct.
And again, just so the public understands, an adjacent property owner is not obligated to purchase it.
Correct.
Right.
It is up to the adjoining owner, and there has to be a willing buyer and seller, so they have
Yeah.
to accept our value and that they would be able to utilize the city parcel.
Now, if we put a value on it and an adjacent property owner were to say, well, that's too much, they have the opportunity to offer a different value to the city, correct?
Only if they're able to provide additional comparable sales that our appraiser was unable to search or look at. Then we will consider possibly making an adjustment to the value.
Yeah. The interesting part about remnants is that it isn't, an appraiser doesn't have a robust number of properties to compare it to that actually have sold in recent months. So sometimes you may have an adjacent property owner that, say for example, a remnant, we say it's worth 10,000, an adjacent property owner says, no, I'll give you 2,000. But the fact of the matter is, there are no comparable appraisals, comparables in order to use for an appraisal. So in that scenario, it would be subjective. Not that we would automatically agree with 2,000, but I'm saying it makes it very interesting for the city to stick to their guns and say it's worth 10,000 when the most likely buyer is saying it's not even close to that.
We would also consider the cost to the city of maintaining the property on a yearly basis, plus the staff time to clean up.
And the process,
Yes, and the
and
process.
even to actually reappraise it or what have you, all of these things take time and energy.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, the remnants are a unique situation for anybody to handle. So I look forward to us getting a report back on our process and procedures and what we may or may not want to change. Is anybody here to speak on item number 3? We're on item number 3. Public comment on item number 3 is now open. No one has filled out a public comment card on item number 3. Seeing and hearing no one interested in commenting on item number 3, public comment on item number 3 is now closed. So what we'll do is we'll continue this motion and instruct the GSD to report back within 30 days and include the following information: a description or definition of the Own a Piece of Los Angeles program, criteria for participation in the program, identification of the 225 undevelopable parcels, and also a timeline for the sale of the parcels as to what kind of system can we get to make it more efficient than 6 months to a year, and a draft policy that would allow coordination between city departments to ensure the surplus status of the properties. And also, this committee is going to instruct the city attorney to draft the proposed ordinance and submit concurrently with the GSD report.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to item number 4.
Item number 4 is a city attorney report and an ordinance pursuant to a motion from Gruel Weiss relative to amending the Los Angeles Administrative Code to extend the Office of Public Safety Oversight Committee.
Good afternoon, Julie Raffish, City Attorney's Office. I'm happy to answer any questions for you. What you have before you is simply an ordinance which extends the life of the Office of Public Safety Oversight Committee an additional 2 years. The original ordinance establishing that committee and setting forth its functions had a sunset provision, a 2-year sunset provision, and so this would extend that by another 2 years.
Now, Office of Public Safety Oversight Committee, I would think that in today's world, that would be something that we would want to do ongoing. Does anybody know why there was a 2-year sunset on it?
Captain Jerry Perez from the Office of Public Safety, and I don't know why there was a two-year sunset on that.
Okay. Doesn't make sense to me. I guess nobody knows the answer to that question. Okay. And what are the, can you give us some of the fundamentals of the activity of the office and why we need it?
Give you a brief overview, sir. The committee meets quarterly now, and they have an advisory role. For the most part, they've been instrumental in coordination of our communication with LAPD. We've been in the process of working on a rather substantial project with respect to a computer-aided dispatch system that we'll be sharing with LAPD, and the Oversight Committee was helpful in getting that done for us. They also review our use of force policy and other policies, and it provides an opportunity for the public to come out and comment on our performance as well.
Okay. So I think it's fair to say that the city would be premature in allowing this to sunset, right? I mean,
We would agree.
yeah, okay. All right. Is anybody here to comment on item number 4? We're on item number 4. Public comment is now open. Okay, I don't have any public comment cards on item number 4. That being the case, we'll close public comment on item number 4, and we'll move this item forward to approve the city attorney's report and ordinance. Okay, thank you very much. Number 5, item number 5.
Item number 5 is a motion, Perry Parks, relative to acceptance of a gift to the city of a sculpture called the Big Rick and Renee Memorial Monument.
All right. How you doing?
Chuck Rubin, General Services Department. We would request a continuance of this item. There are a number of outstanding questions regarding the structural integrity, installation, and other issues that we would like to have answered so that we are comfortable with the continued existence of the monument once it's installed, and would like to have enough time, and also for the city attorney to answer some of the questions that you had previously.
Okay, but the last time we were here to talk about this, it seemed like everybody was energetic and excited about just moving this forward, making sure that all the Ts are crossed, the Is are dotted, and we're able to get this monument in the lobby there. Are we behind schedule with this information?
To be honest with you, I was unaware of the questions from the previous meeting in November until very recently. And we just had a meeting with Mr. Williams regarding some of these issues just yesterday, I believe. And so we're not ready at this time to have answers for you.
Okay, I'm assuming, Mr. Williams, you're the holder of many of the answers of these questions?
Yes, Benny Williams, President Remembered. I'm very disappointed that we've been delayed this far. Of course, our dedication date now will not be achieved. We do need to move that. This project, for some reason, has continually been hammered ever since we realized raising the funds that most people thought were impossible to raise. The motion that's presented before this board for consideration is for the gifting of this monument. In accordance with Cultural Affairs Department's Directive Number 29, we have successfully been approved to install and locate that monument within the Department of Public Works lobby of that building. The item that remains outstanding is accepting the gift. That's all we're trying to do, is give the monument to the city. We did meet with Mr. Rubin's representative at a meeting yesterday afternoon to accommodate their concerns regarding the structural integrities of the sculpture. I identified that we were going to accommodate them and try to answer any concerns that they have. However, overall, it has been reviewed. Everything has been checked, engineered. We have a civil engineer, state licensed calcs. The Department of Building and Safety has preliminary plan check, has already told me that it is ready for permit. The permits, however, expire within 6 months, so you can see my reason for delaying the actual submittal for permit. This project has encountered February the 24th of 2007 was initially the date that we were going to have the dedication. We incurred some discoveries needing additional department approvals. We handled those issues. We set a date of June the 27th, I think it was, 2007 for the dedication. At that time, we had no idea that the council motion for the gifting would take some time, additional time. This item was submitted to the committee by council on June the 26th. We didn't have a hearing on that item until November the 20th, at which time General Services was directed to do some research and make sure everything was satisfied as far as what other parties or entities might need to take a look at this. We were failed to return to committee on December the 18th. So we missed the threshold for executing the finalization of the monument for installation. We are also faced with exposure for losing the grant monies. We're reaching a point where our time frame is coming up for expiration. We have been held up on a document that is necessary to release those funds by Mr. Rubin's concern and mandating that the council give a full resolution or approval for its installation. And this is contradictory to Cultural Affairs Directive 29, and it's within their jurisdiction. We have that.
So you're saying that Cultural Affairs has the authority to accept this gift to the city?
Yes, they-
And determine where it's going to be placed and when it shall happen without council approval?
Actually, the gift, they can accept the gift without council approval if it's within a threshold of money. This exceeds that, so the gift cannot be accepted. It does need to be receive council approval for the gifting, and that's the purpose of this motion. However, yes, they have full authority to approve the placement of artwork within and upon all city properties within the city of Los Angeles. The only two properties that also, in addition to their approval, once they approve it, they submit it to council, is for City Hall and City Hall East. Those are the only two properties that required council approval for placing artwork upon the properties.
So you're saying that this particular piece of art that is supposed to be placed at this particular place does not require council approval, or should not require council approval?
Well, it requires council approval only for us to give it to the city permanently, but as far as it's being located there, no. I mean, I have I actually asked Cultural Affairs to identify that for Mr. Rubin on May the 17th. I have a document here that identifies.
Okay, we're going to make this real simple. Mr. Rubin, who do you need to meet with, or what do you need in order for you to finalize your recommendation to this committee?
We have a list of outstanding issues that we need. Our main concern...
Where do you need to go to get those satisfied?
Well, a lot of them would be for Mr. Williams.
Okay.
And the people who designed the monument. We're looking at a 2,800-pound piece, and we need to determine its weight, load, et cetera.
It's going in a lobby.
We don't have any calculations from an engineer approved. Mr. Williams has them, has not shared them with us.
Have you shared them with the city, with
Yes,
Mr. Rubin?
building and safety.
No.
Yes, I shared
Listen,
them
no, no.
yesterday. I did review those with Mr. Rubin's associate. I had all of the documents there. I have them here.
Did
with-
you leave copies with them?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I'm lost at being attacked. I mean,
No.
No, I'm
Hold on a
afraid-
second.
Okay,
Hold on a second.
right.
I will ask the questions. If you want to add to that, if I give you time to add to that before this committee's over, you can add to it before the committee's over, or you can submit them to this committee later via my office, okay? But when I ask you a question, I'm trying to help.
I understand.
But when you don't answer the question and go on to tell me something else, you're not helping. Okay?
I apologize.
And the person who wants help on this more than I do is you. So I'm trying to help you. Okay? So my question is, why did you not leave copies of that information with Mr. Rubin's assistant, as you referred to him? Him or her?
Concern that there would be a new delay or obstacle for this project.
Well, I'll tell you what. Not giving them copies has in fact contributed to a delay. So what I'm going to let Mr. Rubens know is that you, Mr. Rubens, are going to report to me, to this committee. At the next hearing of this committee, we'll agendize this item, and you're going to let me know specifically what you asked for, what format you asked for it, and what you did receive, and in what format, and what you did not receive. Okay?
That's fine.
We're not going to solve where we're at right now, obviously. Okay? Because you gave me the wrong answer. You gave me the truth.
Right.
You told me how you felt about leaving them with the copy, and you told me why you felt like not leaving them with the copy. But that's the wrong answer for progress.
Okay.
Okay? So, you're going to ask Mr. Williams for information. I prefer that you put that request in some form that you can bring to this committee and show me when and how you asked for that request. In other words, not verbally, do it either by email or carrier pigeon, however you've been communicating before, in a way that you can tangibly show me that it's been requested, and then you're going to hopefully be able to come as well to help explain now, where are we? Okay? We want to get this done. I remember this item. It's a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a bureaucracy, the city of Los Angeles. We don't accept some of the nicest things in the world very easily. And in this particular case, I want to get this over with. Okay? Everybody involved deserves to get this over with. Everybody involved needs to move forward. But the fact of the matter is, we're not dealing with a painting that's 20 pounds. We are dealing with something that is 2,800 pounds. We are dealing with putting it in a lobby, not out in the middle of some parking lot somewhere where nobody's going to see it or what have you. There's a lot of good here. But the thing is, I happen to be an engineer. Take it for good or bad. But one of the reasons why I left that field is because some of those guys and gals split hairs way too much, and they drive me crazy. So that's why I wanted to make it very clear next time this committee hears this item, and it'll be very soon. It might be as soon as next week. And then hopefully we'll exchange the information that needed to be exchanged in a manner that people can walk away feeling comfortable. They have the information that they need so they can come to this committee and to the Council of Los Angeles and tell us, we're ready to rock and roll, everything's fine. Let's schedule the grand opening or the unveiling or whatever you want to call it. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. So it's on you to request of Mr. Williams all the information you need. I want you to bring to this committee the copy of that request, showing me the date and time that you sent it. And then I'm going to need you to tell me, this committee, when you received it and what information you were able to get to them. And you're going to tell me what information you in fact received. And we're going to see if there's anything outstanding after that. Okay?
Very good.
Fine.
Everybody is on the right side of this thing. Unfortunately, people have to watch their rear on this and make sure that they have everything they need so that if something happens, we have earthquakes in this city, for example,
Right.
somebody doesn't say, aha, you didn't do your job. Well, unfortunately, people take their jobs a little differently. Some people look at it differently. Some people receive their responsibilities differently. Some people consider themselves notified differently than other people or what have you. That's why I'm making it really, really clear. I want to see the proof of the request. I want to see when it was requested. I want to see proof of the response, what was responded to, and is there anything outstanding. It's not more complicated than that, at least not today. It may have been more complicated at the beginning. Right now, I see it very, very simple. Okay? Is anybody else here to speak on item number 5? Okay. I don't see anybody else approaching on item number 5. Therefore, public comment on item number 5 has now been open and it's now closed. With that, we will hear this in the next scheduled committee hearing of this Information Technology General Services Committee. And hopefully we'll have those answers. Okay? Clear?
Thank you very much.
Any questions? Pretty clear, right? Pretty simple.
Very clear.
Black and white. Okay, good. Okay, we are now finished with the items on the agenda. With that, we have an opportunity to open this committee up for general public comment. Is there anybody here for general public comment, which is now open? General public comment to this committee is now open. Okay, seeing and hearing no one coming forward on general public comment is now closed. This committee is now adjourned.